Hello, guys. Welcome back. So, I think I'll talk to you about one of the strangest dreams I've had lately. I had a dream this morning that I'm in the forest. I'm in the woods somewhere. Maybe it comes from all the games I've been playing. I think maybe it does if they're bleeding over into my dreams. But I'm traveling with a giant sheep that's walking upright and glowing, a giant cat that's walking upright and glowing, and like two other animals, and they look really cute and everything. And I know these animals are my friends, but I also know I can't tell you what the other two animals were. I also know the animals and the humans have started a war, that the animals, for some reason, have decided they're going to wipe out all the humans. I don't know why I had this dream, but I did. And I go down into a bunker somewhere, and there's like all this like TNT or something down there, or something. It's not quite clear. I should have done this earlier in the day. But I had to flip a switch down there. I did it. It was, then rendered harmless, but I went back up and I realized there's this huge silverback that he had been near a control panel. Like all of a sudden there was this like building and there was this control panel. And he looked at me and I looked at him and we had been friends at one time in the dream because stuff makes sense in dreams. And he had gone on the animal side in this war, but he had decided that it wasn't worth, flipping the switch. He could have flipped a switch and I'd have gotten blown sky high. He decided it wasn't worth doing that, and then the dream ended, and I woke up and I'm like, that was weird. And, it was it made me think, oh, obviously I started wondering, is there anybody in my life that the silverback could, represent? There are definitely a few people I've thought that had like maybe silverback energy in my life that, they took another side and they had a potential to harm, but they did not. And I also thought it could be a message from various groups of gods that, it seems as if they chose the other side, and yet the dream meant, well, look, not all the animals were against you. Some animals were here with you, traveling with you, and you were friends and going to hide. And this, even though this gorilla took the other side in the war, this is a dream, I swear, um, he was going to spare you. He didn't want to deal that with you. And I think it hit home for the gorilla that, all humans are alike. He might have spared the one he liked, but I think then he had a good think of, they're all the same. All humans are the same. We might drive each other crazy at times and want to be at war with each other, but we're all the same, right? And so I think it was like kind of like the gorilla was getting the message too that, here he had signed up and agreed that, yeah, it's animals against humans. And then he decided, oh, you know, oh, here's this human I like. They're not all bad. And here are these animals traveling with her that are protecting her and trying to be her friends. And we didn't want to fight with anybody. We weren't traveling like we were armed or anything. We were peaceful. And so far, there was some kind of weird thing going on. Let me close this here. There was some kind of weird thing going on that we had a grace period. All the other animals had agreed that this war wouldn't start until a certain time, and if you were traveling without weapons, you didn't have to fight in this war, but you only had a certain amount of time to get to a place of safety, and then the war was on, and they didn't care if you had weapons or not. And I'm like, well, what would this dream mean? And obviously, I have written the stories, and there's been a cat, and there's been a lamb in them, and stuff like that. But, I noticed the fox was missing, and I don't think there was a wolf in there, but there was a gorilla, and there's certain deities that I would associate with gorillas. And because they're intelligent and they're emotionally sensitive and they're smart enough that they can work out traps and everything else. And also Winston, that brilliant scientist. So I'm like, I would associate certain gods with gorillas, and I knew it meant something, so I went to look it up in a dream dictionary today, and I got this kind of thing about how that can be, it can be good luck if you see like a silverback, because they're kind of that grayish color, but they're also black too. It's kind of like maybe good luck or you get good news or something. And of course I get up and I have a terrible day. I get up feeling crummy. The neighbor's playing the music way too loud, and I asked Loki to please get this guy to stop. And Loki, for some reason, has always taken this guy's side, and I don't know why. I don't know why. And so I went to another group of gods and I said, okay, he won't do anything. Can you please do something? I even made them offerings. And I've been making the gods offerings to kind of try to speed my healing up here. Anything to get the ball rolling because it's been way too many days for me. I just don't have time to be sick right now. And, I get the idea that the Norse gods finally realized how much this has really bothered me, that they've always taken this guy's side. I think it really came home when I finally said to them, I actually said, you know what, can you please get out of my house for a while? Actually didn't term it that nicely as like, get out. I said, you truly don't love me and care about me in this situation. I'm really hurt. I don't know why you're doing this, but I'm really hurt. I don't understand your reasoning. You refuse to explain, so please get out. You know, go. And they realized that I was really willing to go work with these other groups of gods and be like, okay, that's like the weird thing where the Norse gods didn't have my back with him and they didn't have my back really with the old friends and the ex-friends. And I'm like, I'm starting to wonder if they really, they really even care about me. I don't believe in bloodlines or anything, but I'm like, is that it? Or are these people of a certain background they just prefer over me? I would hate to think that would be the cause, and I'm not saying it is, but I'm like, they certainly seem to have preference for these people. So, there are just times you're not going to understand the gods. And it's perfectly okay to take a break from them. And it's perfectly okay to get strange dreams when we're all under a huge amount of stress. I think the gorilla was representing someone who was trying to say, yes, I have the opportunity and yes, I could have taken this side, but it was like kind of like a realization of, oh, all you humans are the same. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're humans and we're animals, because really we're all an animal species, humans included. We just wrote this pretty little myth that we're special. We're no different from any of the other animals. And I think it kind of clicked for the gorilla at the moment in the dream, but I don't know. I didn't, dream didn't complete. I have no idea what would have happened. But it's just we're going through surreal times. We're going through times where it feels like sometimes like the gods, you might feel at times like the gods don't have your back. So you go to another group of gods or you go to your old god. I certainly went to this guy's god today. I'm like, I just can't even. I'm sick. I'm tired. I'm on medication. Please, have some mercy. This is your child. Nobody can do anything with him. Um, and, finally, mercifully, the music stopped. I mean, it's so loud, guys, I can't even record. I've tried having the fan and stuff on, and if one little bit of music got through and was in a video and the bots or whatever caught it, I could lose my channel. So it's serious for me. It's threatening my livelihood at this point. And he does it for hours and hours and hours. It's not like he does it for 20, 40 minutes, gets it out of his system. I could see that. But does it for hours, hours, and hours. And he's a retiree, so sometimes he goes on for weeks at a time. And yeah, he hadn't been doing it for a while, but he's starting up again. And I'm like, yeah, I can't deal with this anymore. I just can't. So I went to a different group of gods. But it's a weird, surreal time for all of us, guys. You might find yourself going to different groups of gods, and it's okay. Sometimes it feels like your gods always have your back until the one day they do that and they look away and they won't do it and they're stubborn and they're sullen. And I said, okay, I'll go to someone else and I'll keep going to someone else until I find someone that has a solution. There's no such thing as any person that's the golden boy of any group of gods or goddesses, of universally all the gods and goddesses. There's going to be a group out there that's going to say, hey, I don't care what that group thinks. That person isn't doing right. That's not right doing. That's disturbing the peace. That's whatever they're doing. That's wrong. They don't have a right to do this. Unfortunately, we live in a culture where, Christianity dominates, and I'm not saying anything bad about Christianity, but Christianity can come, especially if it's fundamentalist, with the rules for the and not for me thing, where if you are fundamentalist, a lot of them think they have a right to do whatever they want. They're going to blast their radio, they're going to do it. They want to go do whatever else they want to do, they're going to do it because they have the right to do it, and God said so. Most gods don't play by that book. Even their God doesn't play by that book, but he never stops them either, so it's just kind of, I think, a time good for us to all reflect to see, are we doing anything that's adding to all the static and chaos we're feeling? Are we making Facebook posts to aggravate people? Are we spending our time on forums or Reddits where it just gets us fired up and gets us angry at other people? Because it's not really helping. It's kind of a thing like if we want peace, we have to kind of work for peace. I think that's what I got out of the dream. That if I really wanted peace, I had to travel with my friends that agreed with me, and we had to go find somewhere safe. But then we had to stay out of the conflicts. That's the advice I'm taking. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I hope that made an ounce of sense, guys. I'm really sorry. I always react this way. I always get slapped sideways by these cold medications. Hopefully I'm off them sooner than later, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.